Not understand how to solve quadratic equations using complete the square, you're going to struggle in math, and I do not want that. So in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to solve quadratic equations using complete the square. I'll go through all the fundamental concepts first, and then I'll go through 3 practice questions with you that you can do along with me, ranging from easy, medium to challenging. And this is going to show you exactly how to apply this concept into your answers. So first and foremost, in order to solve quadratic equations using complete the square, you need to know how to complete the square, right? You need to know how to complete the square. And completing the square, I've gone through that in my earlier video. So if you want, you can go ahead and click on the video on the right hand side right now. But to know exactly how to do it, right? So in this video, I'm just going to cut straight to the chase. And let's say I have this equation over here, 2x squared plus 12x minus 8 equals to 0. I'm going to quickly complete the square for this now, and if you want, you can go ahead and click on the video that I referenced to earlier to see exactly how to complete the square. Alright, so let me just quickly break this down. X squared plus 6x plus 6 over 2 squared minus 4 minus 6 over 2 squared. I'll have 2x plus 3 squared minus 9 minus 4. I'll have 2x plus 3 squared minus 13 minus 26 equals to 0. And then, okay, so now we have come to this point already. Actually, right, you don't even have to expand it, right? If you expand it, sure, you can do it. But if you want, you can just straight away go to this step. X plus 3 square minus 13 is 0, right? Because essentially what you're doing is you expand the 2 inside, and you get this, right? 2 and then 26. But what we want to do is we want to essentially solve for x, right? That's the entire meaning of solve for quadratic equation. Every time you do a question and then they ask you to solve the quadratic equation, they are essentially asking you to find the value of x that satisfies the equation. Or in simple terms, right, when you have a quadratic equation just like this and they ask you to solve for it, they want you to find out what is the value of x such that when I substitute that value of x inside here, right, I will get this answer, 0. So that is essentially what solving for the quadratic equation means. And we have come until this point. So right from the beginning all the way until here, we have only done one thing, which is to complete the square. That's all we have done so far, complete the square. So what's next? The next thing to do would be to bring this constant to the other side. So x plus 3 square is 13. And now you have this, you can essentially solve for x. Because what we want to do whenever we want to solve for something, right? So pro tip, when you want to solve for x, we want to leave x on the left hand side and everything else on the right hand side. So we bring the 13, which is not x, to the right hand side, and now we are going to remove the square root, or the square over here. And how we do that? We square root both sides. So we have x plus 3 is square root 13. But very, very important, you must add the plus minus sign over here. Why is that so? Let me give you an example, okay? So for example, I have 4, right? When you have 4 and let's say you square root 4, you have 2, correct? But square root 4 also can be negative 2. Or essentially, when you square 2, you will get 4, right? And at the same time, when you square root -2, you will also get 4. So when you square root 4, there can be both answers. It can be 2 or -2. It can be either way, right? If you sub 2 inside the equation, you will get 4. If you sub -2 inside the equation, you will get 4. So you must always take into account the positive and the negative value of the answer every time you square root something. Alright, so with that, we will have two different values of x. We will have x plus 3 is positive square root 13, or x plus 3 is negative square root 13. And therefore, to find the value of x, we'll bring everything that's not x to the right hand side, which is the 3. So x is square root 13 minus 3. Or x is negative square root 13 minus 3. And that is your answer. And of course, if you want to expand it out, you will have 0.61 to 3SF, or negative 6.61 to 3SF. So in order to solve quadratic equations using complete the square, the first step is to complete the square from here all the way until here. And if you need a step-by-step guide on how to complete the square in case you're confused, you can go ahead and click on the previous video, and there's a full guide that teaches you exactly how to do it. And once you come to this step over here, what you will need to do is to bring everything that is not x to the right hand side. So on a equation, right, this is the left hand side equals to the right hand side. So leave x over here, and everything that is not x, you bring it over here. So I bring the 13 over, and to remove the square root, we square root both sides. And we get this. And always remember, when you square root something, you must always account for the positive and negative value, because either answers, so in this case square root 13 or negative square root 13, can be the answer. And I demonstrated the reason why over here, right? Let's say you have x, let's say square x is, for example, when I have 2 square is 4, and negative 2 square is also 4. So square root 4 can be 2 or negative 2. And it's the same for this case. So you must always take into account the plus minus sign. And therefore you will have two different answers. So x is 0.61 or x is negative 6.61. And if you take this value over here, you substitute it into its original equation over here. That means you key into your calculator, right? 2 bracket 0.61 dot 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 square plus 12 0.61 dot 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 square minus 8, you will get 0. Likewise for the other value, right? Negative 6.61 dot 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 square plus 12 0.61 negative 6.61 dot 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 square minus 8, you will also get 0. Left hand side equals right hand side. So this is exactly how to solve quadratic equations using complete the square. And now I will show you some example questions as to how to do it. So easy would be over here. So let's say we have x squared plus 6x plus 8 equals to 0. Now we're just going to complete the square for this. We will have 6 over 2 square plus 8 minus 6 over 2 square is 0. And this will be x plus 3 square plus 8 minus 3 square is 0. And x plus 3 square minus 1 is 0. So to solve for x, we would bring this 1 to the other side first. And then we would square root both sides. So we will have, so I'm just going to illustrate this, right? We're going to square root both sides. and you're going to have this. And now you can solve for x. So you will have two values of x. X plus 3 is square root 1, or x plus 3 is negative square root 1. And therefore, x is square root 1 minus 3, or x is negative square root 1 minus 3. It's because you bring the 3 over, you minus 3 on both sides. And therefore, your answer is this too, right? X is square root 1 minus 3, or equals to negative square root 1 minus 3. And if you substitute either one of these values inside the original equation over here, you will get it right. You will get 0. And that's how you check backwards to see whether you're correct. Is you substitute the values of x that you have found inside the original equation, and if whatever value of x you substitute inside here matches the value that you get out at the end, then the left hand side equals to right hand side, and therefore you are correct. Now, next question is a little bit more challenging but still very doable, right? Medium. Next one, let's do this. So we have 4x squared plus 9x plus 1 equals to 0. I'm going to remove the 4 to make the coefficient of x squared 1. Oops. Plus 1/4 is 0. 4 bracket x squared plus 9 over 4x plus 9 over 4 divided by 2 square plus 1/4 minus 9 over 4 divided by 2 square is 0. And from here I will have bracket x plus 9 over 8 square plus 1/4 minus 9 over 8 square minus 81 over 64 equals to 0. And now I will combine, so I'll have x plus 9 over 8 square plus, let me just do my calculations really quickly, you will have minus 1/164 is 0. And now you want to solve for x, right? So you don't have to expand this, you can just divide by 4 on both sides. So essentially 0 over 4 is 0. So you have x plus 9 over 8 square minus 1/164 is 0. And now you bring this over to the other side to isolate the x on the left hand side. And now you want to remove the square root, so you're going to square both sides, and you will have this. And now to solve for x, you will have two values because you have a plus and a minus sign. So you will have x plus 9 over 8 equals to square root 1/164, or x plus 9 over 8 minus equals to minus 1/164. And therefore x is just square root 1/164 minus 9 over 8, or x is minus 1/164 minus 9 over 8. And therefore when you key into your calculator, this is what you will get, 1/164 minus 9 over 8. And you express it in 3SF, so you have negative 0.117 to 3SF. Or on the other hand, you will have negative square root 1/164 minus 9 over 8, and you will have negative 2.13213, and then to 3SF. So x is negative 0.117 or negative 2.13. Okay, that's great. Now on to the last question, which is your challenging question. It's exactly the same, right? Just rinse and repeat the steps and you'll be fine. So first thing, make the coefficient of x squared 1. So 8 bracket x squared minus 13 over 8 x minus 2 over 8 is 0. The next thing to do is to complete the square inside. So you have x squared minus 13 over 8x plus 13 over 8 divided by 2 squared minus 2 over 8 minus 13 over 8 divided by 2 squared equals to 0. And from here, we will have 8 bracket x minus 13 over 16 squared. And on the other hand, for all the constants, we will just need to expand them. So we will have minus 233 over 256 close bracket equals to 0. And now we just need to divide 8 on both sides. We don't really need to expand, because even if we expand, we are going to simplify later on either ways, right? And from here, we're going to bring this over to the other side. You will have 8x minus 1, 13 over 16 square equals to 233 over 256. Later on, I'll explain why you don't need to expand. Okay, I'll explain why over here later. But either ways, let's solve this question first. So now we just need to square root both sides, and we will have two different values of x, right? So we have x minus 13 over 16 is square root plus minus 233 over 256, and then you have two values. So you have x minus 13 over 16 is positive 233 over 256, and x equals x, or x minus 13 over 16 is negative square root 233 over 256, and therefore x is 233 over 256 plus 13 over 16. On the other hand, you have x equals to negative 233 over 256 plus 13 over 16. And therefore, this is your answer. So right now, you just need to key this into your calculator, and then you will have your answers. So over here, you will have 3SF, so it's 1.77 to 3SF. And on the other hand, you key the same thing into your calculator exactly as you see it, and you will have negative 0.142 to 3SF. And therefore, x is 1.77 or negative 0.142. And that's the answer. So let me just explain why you don't need to expand the 8 inside, right? Why did I just straight away divide? And that is because, okay, just picture this. Let's say if I expand, I'll have 8x over 13, 16 square minus 233 divided by 256 times 8, right? So I will have 233 over 32 is 0. Then let's say I do the same working again. Before I can square root this, or rather before I can remove the square root, I need to remove the 8 first, right? Because I am going to square root both sides to remove the square root. So either ways, I will need to still divide the 8 away. And I will still go back to, the same working over here, as you see over here, and then you compare it to this. So either ways, you will still go back to your working, right? You'll still go back to the correct working. It's just that I immediately recognize this, and then I straight away remove the 8 so that I don't need to go through 2 more extra steps. And as we all know, in math exams, time is of the essence. And you wouldn't want to, the more steps you take, the higher chances or the more opportunities for you to make small careless mistakes. If you, let's say you forget to copy a number over here, and then since you make a careless mistake in this extra step, all your other working below will get wrong. That's why in math it's good to be lean and have as little steps as possible so that you don't make opportunities for yourself to make careless mistakes. And if I can just illustrate this one more time, so this is essentially saying 8x is 0, right? So x is 0. I don't know if you caught that, but essentially you're doing this 8 bracket x equals to 0. And just like that, you don't even have to expand inside because x itself is already 0. Right? 8 times 0 is 0. So x is 0 already. So you don't have to expand the 8 inside. Unless on the other side there is a 1 over here. Then okay, fair. You want to divide 8 on both sides first. But since on the other side 0, you don't have to expand the 8 in. But if you want to, you can go ahead, no one's stopping you. Right? But it's just that you have more room for careless mistakes later on. And with that, I've come to the end of this video. If you still don't know how to complete the square and solve quadratic equations, I'm going to recommend you to watch this video on the right over here, where you are going to get a clear picture as to how to do this. And once you can understand this, you will be able to ace your math exams. And if you need more personalized help for math, go ahead and click on the description under this video for more resources and support. And with that, thanks for watching, and always remember, you are just one mark away. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.